Nightly greetings, one and all. William Theo here, homegrown and happy to bring you PTV News Now. We kick off tonight's stories with the latest stroke of the president's pen that has added a layer of protection to the agricultural sector and cover to consumers from the preparedness of bad actors in the distribution of supply chain in the industry. The newly signed law further criminalizes the acts of smuggling and hoarding in the distribution chain that can get in the way of farmers, fisher folk getting a fair deal on their produce, and the Filipino consumer getting stiffed by overpriced goods and produce. Under Republic Act 12022, agriculture hoarding in particular is clearly defined when a person or group is in possession of agricultural or fishery products in excess of 30% of their usual or normal inventory level 2 weeks after the declaration of crisis. The newly inked piece of legislation supersedes the outdated Republic Act 10845 or the Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act of 2016, which lacked the comprehensive mechanisms and teeth to hold bad actors into account. This newly minted law aligns with the administration's policy of a robust or more abundant state of food security and government's ramped-up support for the agricultural sector. Meanwhile, the peach state of Georgia is in the southern part of the Union, has long been ruby red country until then Democratic president candidate Joe Biden flipped it in 2020 by a razor-thin margin of 11,780 votes. And the Trump campaign, with the help from the state's widely popular governor, is confident to win back and return Georgia to its red and Republican stronghold status in November, as we hear more from VOA's Kane Faribault.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance shared the stage at a recent dinner, a show of Republican Party unity after years of discord between Kemp and former President Donald Trump.
We're finna start all over.
Atlanta voter Dorothy Harp is not concerned about Trump's feud with Kemp over the 2020 election, which Trump falsely says he won in Georgia. She's more concerned about the economy.
We had lower prices on our food, gas, energy, cars, everything was better under the Trump administration.
It's a message Harp takes door to door, encouraging members of her community to vote.
And I've got a lot of young voters who said they're going to vote for Trump.
In the 2020 election, Joe Biden defeated Trump in Georgia by just over 11,000 votes out of nearly 5 million cast. Numbers Georgia's Republican Governor Kemp knows well, as he implored audience members, including Harp, to vote.
So we cannot take anything for granted. We cannot take our foot off the gas.
Georgia is fully in play again.
Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, a Democrat, says polls show another close race this year between Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris.
People sometimes get disenfranchised by thinking that their vote doesn't matter, but we have to go out there and make sure everyone knows that their vote does matter.
Listen, every vote counts.
Elijah Grace is with the voter advocacy organization, the New Georgia Project Action Fund, whose workers go door to door to promote voter registration.
We specialize in targeting black and brown people across the state, making sure that they have all the resources that's needed to cast their ballot.
A 2020 Pew Research Center study showed Georgia's eligible black voting population made up a third of the state's total electorate. Exit polls in 2020 showed 88% of black voters chose Biden, but recent polls show Democrats losing ground in this close contest.
Both sides understand that roads lead through Georgia.
When the race was between Biden and Trump, Grace noticed a lack of enthusiasm among potential voters.
And since the Democratic ticket has changed, we have seen a strong uptick in support for Vice President Kamala Harris.
She's at the intersection of color and gender.
Bernice King, daughter of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr., believes Harris appeals to voters previously considering sitting on the sidelines.
Frankly, just speaking as a woman, I think this is a season where we're seeing more and more women emerge in the critical places of leadership.
Leadership is motivating Harp to back Trump, and she's working to bring others along with her as Republicans focus on inflation and cost of living concerns.
I have already committed to taking some of the people I know to the poll. I said, if you ain't got a way to get there, I'll get you there.
Polls open in Georgia for early voting on October 15th. Kane Faribault, VOA News, Atlanta.
And now let's turn to PTV's Baguio City studios and my colleague for what's hot and happening in the Cordilleras. Audrey?
Naimbag Arabi, Pilipinas. Impanamnama ti Benguet State University ang may lukaten intun umayatawan ti kurso a medisina iti nasawa pagadalan. Posible ang mailukat ti kurso a medisina iti Benguet State University iti school year 2025-2026. Kalpasan ti panakaitantan dayto itatawan gapu iti sumagmamano a procedure protocols kas iti panakagatang ti plastinated cadaver kanda do mga alikaman ni aramatan dagiti estudyante. 50 nga estudyante ti maakomodar para iti first batch. Mailukat dayto iti amin nga interesado nga estudyante iti Cordillera. Temporaryo ang maaramat pa lang ti duwa classroom ti baro apasdak ti College of Nursing, kabayatan ang maururay ti construction ti building para iti College of Medicine. Ti BSU ti agbali na kaunaan nga State University ang maadan iti College of Medicine iti Region Cordillera.
The building for now, there was that approved by the General Appropriations Act, 20 million. We are supposed to establish it. We were able to have the so-called groundbreaking shovel raiding ako na dan at near the fire department office. I am encouraging especially itong tiga Benguet kasi kung pwede sana we get one each per municipality. And then the rest will come from other municipalities from Baguio. That's our kasi primarily this is for Benguet.
Iti sabali pay adamag nang rugintipan nakaramid ti alternate route iti Sitio Camp to Twin Peaks Kennon Road to Benguet. Manamnama may lukad daytoy kadagiti motorista iti umay abulan ti Oktubre. Iti Facebook post ti Barangay Twin Peaks Tuba Benguet, makitan ti man narimaan na pan nakaarami ti alternate route iti nasaw a lugar. Solusyon daytoy tapno adadaras a pagdalanan dagiti motorista iti lugar, kalpasan a naadan iti road cut ti main road gapu iti underground water leak. Iti agdama, san pay lang a madalanan ti kalsada nga adan iti road cut.
Already took with the contractors that for the rerouting, pwede naman with a period of 2 to 3 weeks pwede nang gamitin yung reroute.
Dagiti damdamag manipo di PTV Cordillera, siya, ni Audrey Villena, Naimbag Arabi.
Thank you, Audrey, and that's a wrap for this evening. Join us anew tomorrow night for the recap of the major events in the week that passed in the Global Roundup. Always keep in mind to stay connected by catching the news right here. William Theo wishing you all a restful and eventful weekend, and thank you for watching PTV News Now.